Hi, and welcome to Turning Point School of Art. This is our final weekly topic of future cities, and I'm Professor Sarah Perks. Not everyone lives in a city, but they do house around 55% of the world's population, with thousands of cities worldwide. They have anywhere from 800 residents in the Vatican City to massive metropolises that house over 20 million people, including Greater New York, Beijing, Manila, and Jakarta. The UN think that 2/3 of us will live in a city by 2050. But what will a city look like then? There's two big areas that emerge in contemporary art and also across architecture, design, and development generally when trying to answer this question: that of the environment and that of technology. The biggest city in the world is Tokyo. It has nearly 38 million residents that stretch way beyond its initial borders. And it's also the one that really fits our futuristic theme, so it's a great place to start. We imagine a sort of vertical metropolis, shiny neon high-rise and huge crowds. Perhaps we think of images from the film Blade Runner, though director Ridley Scott was actually from Teesside in northeast England, and he was thinking about the Wilton chemical plant there. Last year, the Mori Art Museum in Tokyo invited everyone to think about the future. In fact, it asked artificial intelligence to think about the future. So usually a curator comes up with an exhibition title. Instead, the museum invited computers working with IBM to do it. So the title became Future and the Arts: AI, Robotics, Cities, Life, How Humanity Will Live Tomorrow. Curators, you can rest assured that your job is unlikely to be taken over by robots soon. As you would expect, there's a healthy amount of robots everywhere in this exhibition. And this piece here, Sushi Singularity, is a machine that 3D prints your food. It can take a swab of your taste buds and tailor make it for you. Made from an interesting looking edible gel. Yum. German artist Dimut Strieber has made or remade Van Gogh's ear using biotechnology, allegedly with DNA from a living relative. Something was clearly in the art air last year, as there was actually quite a lot of exhibitions that dealt with this theme or idea of future cities. Closer to home in Manchester, the Centre for Chinese Contemporary Art also put on an exhibition called Future Cities, and it included some work by Zhou Society called Lost in Shenzhen. The city of Shenzhen is in a special economic zone just over the border from Hong Kong, and it's set up as part of a whole Pearl River Delta area to take advantage of Hong Kong and Macau's international connections and the rapid speed of growth that we associate with China. As you can see behind me, Lost in Shenzhen takes over the whole gallery space, consisting of neon lights, sculptures, photographs, and short films, all about the spectacle and commotion of the city in the style of a kitschy hotel. Environmental concerns dominate a lot of people's thoughts about our future and the future of our cities, particularly the effects of climate change, rising sea levels, and flooding, and these prompt many works of contemporary art. Lucy and Jorge Orta made a sculpture for St. Pancras Station in London. Reminds us of last week's theme of mythology, recalling a classical frieze, but it's also asking us to think about the precious resource of water. This artist duo also did a long-term project called Antarctica, creating a settlement there. It's the only place not claimed by a nation. American artist Doug Aitken made an installation called The Garden that goes straight to the conflict of nature and the urban or constructed environment. He invites the audience into the glass house surrounded by living plants, where you can destroy the man-made objects and in the process, consider what we've been doing to the planet that we live on. How to Build a Forest is an installation by performance artists Pearl D'Amour, duo Katie Pearl and Lisa D'Amour, with artist Sean Hall, And every day they carefully build a forest together in an empty space, and then they pull it down at the end of every day. This installation took place at Contemporary Art Center, New Orleans, and was inspired by 100 trees lost at a Louisiana family home following Hurricane Katrina. And the artists also talk about the consequences of the 2010 BP oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. The forest is made of fabric and man-made materials, inviting us to think about the constant change and construction of our cities and environments, and how that affects the natural ecosystems. Artist Jonas, in Moving Off the Land 2, has us immersed in a new underwater world, living alongside the sea life. Her performance has us spiritually transported into a new way of being, alive underwater within the ocean ecosystem, combining science and mythology to create a place where humans, mermaids, and sea creatures could all live harmoniously together. After the ocean, maybe the only place left to go is space. One day we might have to leave the planet completely. In 2018, artist Nahum became one of the first to send an artwork into outer space, placing an interactive sculpture on the ISS, the International Space Station, that you can access on the ground through mirrors, and then it sends your heartbeat up into this unknown place in space. And it makes me think, perhaps we're only just at the beginning of what we might be able to conceive of as a future city.